No, thank you so much.
Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Are we live? Oh, okay. I didn't realize we were live already. Right,
Yes.
so he doesn't need much introduction. I think what has made you trend are just the records you've set, paying your house faster. I'm going to try and put myself in the shoes of the audience and everyone who's ever heard about you and ask some curious questions
Yes.
about financial discipline, because
Yes.
like sis earlier too, and even when, like I was saying, sometimes we do know what we need to do, but between what you know you need to be doing and just
Yes.
doing it,
Yes.
there's something in the middle that just gets in the way. For
Yes.
you, building this financial discipline, I get where you learned the principles from
Yes.
in church,
Yes.
but building this discipline, is it not an unfair advantage that you have with you grow up a vendor in a corner where everyone is just disciplined? Because it seems for you, you've always been disciplined.
Yes.
I haven't heard you talk about struggling to be disciplined.
Yes. No, I think it's not like everyone in Venda is disciplined. Because when I was growing up, there used to be a place where a lot of guys, they will just go and sit there. And then I remember making a decision myself to say, I don't want to be part of the people who are sitting on those rocks. Yes, because I wanted a different life for myself. So I feel like it was a personal decision to say, I want to live my life like this. It doesn't have... There are people who have, let me say, they have the same advantages as me.
Okay.
But they didn't turn out to be disciplined the way I am. So I feel like it's a personal decision to say, I want to live my life like this. So even in those rocks, I made a decision to say, I'm not going to be part of the people who are sitting in those rocks. But when you think about the people who were there, there's one of the guys who in Venda who's very famous today. He's one of the artists. He was one of the guys who was sitting in those rocks. Yes. And today he did well because where he's going, it aligned to sitting there because they were practicing to sing when they were there. They were smoking and so on. But for me, where I was going, they didn't align to me sitting there. Yeah.
I was going to ask who it was until you mentioned smoking. Then he might not want to trend for that.
Yes.
But in terms of just people who have inspired you, from especially when you were starting out,
Yeah.
who stands out? People that just inspired you to continue in this path that you've been on.
I think my pastor, if I'm being honest, it's just my pastor.
Yeah, go deeper.
I think he lived a very simple life. He's not influenced by the society, societal pressures. So he has been very consistent throughout. I've been in that church for 29 years now. And then I've seen, like when I look at him, I see somebody who's very consistent. He didn't even move from where he was staying when he started to be a pastor to where he's staying now. And my church is one of the biggest churches in Venda. So he could have done a lot of other things and so on, but he's so consistent. And I like the discipline that he has because he doesn't trend for wrong things. When you see him trending, it's always good things. So it's somebody I look up to say, he's very old now. He's having gray hair, but when I look, I'm like, I want my life to be like that. Yeah. So that's somebody I learned from. And then even the issue of managing finances, when I tell people, I learn it from church because my mother was a cleaner in the same church for 15 years. So I always say she was taking me with to the seminars and to the services. And then a lot of leaders from Gauteng, like Bishop Musa Sono, they will come to our church there in Venda. So we learn from those kind of people. And then we are just the results of what they were teaching.
Have you ever been scammed?
I've never been scammed because I've never been scammed because I am that person, which if you come now to say, invest in this, I won't. Like, I don't just invest on anything. Like, I have to be the one who decide to say, I know about this investment and I'm going for it. So all this investment that came and passed, I never got challenged to
No crypto,
to invest.
no forex.
Not. I wouldn't want to say the specific investment to say this one is a scam, but I mean some forex is a very good investment.
For
If you know how to. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I can't say forex. I can just say I've been very careful in what to invest in. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So for someone who doesn't know about you, Percy, about 3 years ago, you decided to go live on social media and say, I'm buying this house, I'm going to pay it off. I'm not sure if you said for how long, but you said, I'm going to pay it off in front of you. So as he was making the payments, he would take a screenshot, very public about it. Take screenshots of the bank balance that this is how the bond is reducing, and in about 3 years, 3 months, right?
Yes.
The last screenshot was 000. I've paid off the bond of 1.3 million.
Yes.
You say the exact number. I'm just guessing off the cuff.
Yeah, it's 1,314,776 rand. Yeah.
First off, because of just the sheer risk of it, why did you do it in public on social media?
I think it was because I've been doing a lot of seminars and speaking a lot about finance.
Just encouraging people to save.
Encouraging people to save and be more disciplined. So I wanted something that I'm doing in the eyes of people, like something that I'm implementing right in front of their eyes. Because my first house, when I paid it off in 2018, people didn't know about me then. I was just doing it privately and just focusing on my goals to say, I want to pay off this house. So when I did this one, it was more like, I've done this before and I've talked about it, but I wanted to do something practical in front of everyone so that somebody can learn from it. Because the moment you are just told a story, or I did this, it's more like it's just a story. Yeah. But I wanted somebody to see what I'm doing so that they can also implement it in their own lives. Yeah.
All right. So in the reaction from social media, especially closer to you paying off the house, what are some of the good stories that have come out of it? I know you get a lot of testimonials. Share some cool ones.
No, there was a lot. But I feel like over the years, because my journey has been a journey of screenshots, so I think it's not that journey that a lot of people, they doubt. Only the people who are new in my life are the ones who will be doubting, or this is possible to do. But a lot of people who have been around, they know the story, they trust the story. So the reaction,
Also, you're saying the reaction is not really new.
It's just people. Yes. So it was not really overwhelming. It was just a normal reaction because I've been doing the same thing for years.
Trying to be humble. I've seen some of the posts. So one of the things that shock people when they meet Percy, because they've seen the screenshots online. I've had the pleasure of just being around him, even in some of the seminars that we would have done together. So you come and just stand with him. You're in a mall or something, and people come, Percy, now you have to be the cameraman. People always get shocked. It's just how humble he is. Oh, you want a photo? Come, let's take a photo. It's like, how did you become this person? Easygoing, humble, just good with people.
Yeah.
Because with the kind of fame that you have now, man, it's very easy for you to start screening out people.
Oh, yeah. I think it's the way I look at myself.
You are trying to filter and find
No. I think it's the way I look at myself. For me, nothing has changed. Like, people will come to me to say, you have this and you have that. But it's not the way I look at myself.
Ah.
So for me, I'm still the same old Percy of 2015, which nothing has really changed. So I think it's the way I look at myself rather than the way people look at me. I respond based on the way I look at myself, yeah.
Oh, so the pride we see with some people that get to your level is just they start to see themselves bigger than they are.
Yeah, maybe it's something like that.
Let's get to some tips. Let's get to things that you've learned along the way.
Yes.
What kind of tips do you have for someone who hears your story, wants to get started, but is drowning in debt?
No, I think it's about lifestyle, because for me, I always think that when you are a person, you are born to be a manager. Not in terms of a position, to say you must get a position where you are managing. You must manage yourself. So I think that's the main thing about me, because my journey has been mainly about me managing myself. And then it helps me to manage everything around me in terms of even finance and so on. So even in the way I do property, I always have a lot of rules to say I must not do this, I must not do this, because I feel like I'm a manager there. I must manage it with pride.
Okay.
So
what's like one example when you're saying I must not do this, I must not do? Just one example. I want people to be clear what you're talking about.
Okay, like ending up dating your tenants. It's one of the things which I can just say, let me avoid things like that. Especially when you have a lot of tenants, you can end up falling into those kind of things. So which will
I didn't see that.
which will end up affecting your business, because if you are dating somebody, obviously they have to stop paying. And then
Now I need to recover my train of thought.
So yeah, I feel like it's about managing yourself. To say you have to manage what you do, where you go. So even the simple thing, like for me, the simple thing like not drinking alcohol, it's me managing myself and managing my finances. So there's a lot of things which it's just moral things, but for me not to do them, they assist me in the way I save. Yeah.
All right, so let me expose you a little bit. Because you don't cease to shock me. There's a time that we were talking about just shooting content for UPES. And we decided if you are away and you decide to shoot content, you need like a stand. I don't think there's stands here. There's one that's simpler and smaller. That stand is around $650. The guy who sells is in the back. He's laughing because he knows where this is going now. So I said, you know what? Let's call Reg and you can get that stand. The one that I have, it's about $650.
Yes.
Percy said, it's not good budget. But I'll give you a shout. Once I've budgeted, I said, what? You talk about how much the property generates, and we are here heckling about 600 for something that you continue. It's not good budget.
Yeah.
When it's in, I'll call you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that a once off, man? Or this is just you and how disciplined you are with everything?
I think before it was even worse. Now it's better. And there are people who say, "What if you die?" You know, to say, "What if you save so much and then you end up not enjoying the results of your savings?" Yeah. For me, unfortunately, at the moment, I'm able to enjoy certain things that I'm like the returns of the investment. I'm able to enjoy them. Yeah. But there was a time which I was not eating any return. It's more like the book. You know, the book, to be honest, I've never spent even 1,000 from what I made from the book.
What?
I haven't. So it's
Don't ask me about my book. This is about this.
so every money that I was making from the book, I was paying off the bond that I recently paid off. It's like every day I will make sure that in the evening I'm transferring every money that people paid towards the book to the bond. And it reached to the place where I was telling people that I pay my bond on a daily basis. And they didn't understand how, but it was because of all those little income that was coming through.
When
Yeah.
people call you for events to speak and stuff,
Yes.
any honorarium that
Yes,
they give
then I will
just transfer it to the bond.
Yes. So I was that like discipline in a way, in which I don't just spend money. And
Different
people
level of
who met
discipline.
me, people who met me in 2018, for example, I feel like those people struggle a lot in my life because because even to go out, I wouldn't just go out. I will have to calculate to say once a month I will go out, something like that. So if you are dating me that time, it means it was more tough at that time, yeah. But over the years, I feel like I became more flexible to spending. But it is also based on what are you making, yeah.
I want to give the audience a chance to ask you because I've asked you some pretty human questions today. I don't want to get super tactical.
Yes.
When you hear his story, I'm sure you have questions now because this is financial discipline on steroids.
Yeah.
I was talking about him in a workshop this one time, Eastern Cape. And we had a 1 hour debate about Percy Singo. First of all, I was surprised they even know you there.
Yes.
But the debate was, we know Percy, we've seen you with him on the podcast, but can you tell how balance Minier? Why is he still driving that pod? Because we know he can afford a bigger car.
Yeah.
Does he not think about safety? What?
Yes,
It
yes.
got super technical, like
Yes.
1 hour debate
Yes.
on his life choices. Why
Yes.
is he still driving
Yes.
the car? And for context, it's not a bad car, it's a really good car. But they were comparing with the income that they know that he makes. They know he can afford a bigger one. Do you want to
Yeah.
comment before I
Yeah.
open up for questions?
Yeah, I think a car has been part of my journey, yeah. A car has been part of my journey because I've never had an extreme expense of a car. Okay, maybe just to say this, where I'm working, they give you a car allowance. And then that car allowance might be maybe more than 12,000 that they give you as a
It's
car
more
allowance.
than your cars.
It's way more than my car. It's like times 3 more than my car. So I could buy any car that I want at the moment. But it's something that I just felt like I'm not ready for it. I'm focusing on other things. I think it's more about the focus. To say my focus was more on property, making sure that I build those rental units and so on. So that was the focus, and it made me not to change the car. But at the moment, as well, when last year I got an accident, a lot of people were saying, this is your opportunity to change the car. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, if I upgrade this car at the moment, I'm not gonna finish the house
In 3 years.
in the time frame that I had set for myself. And then I had to compromise on the car and make sure that I pay off the house. So it's about those priorities. But I feel like time will come where I change the Polo, because I've been driving a Polo since 2013. And then there was a time which the car I was
I want
driving.
to start asking questions before I open
There
it.
there was a time that the car I was driving was actually 2%, around 2% of the income that I'm making.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a time I was spending 2%. And when you look at a lot of people who are driving cars, it's more like people are around 20% of their income.
way
It's
more.
going to your car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Over to you guys.
I think we're all just shocked with the amount of discipline that you have. But we also marveled at that because I think I speak for many, we need that kind of discipline in our lives. I saw on your post on LinkedIn recently, you downgraded. You left your house, rented it out to go to a smaller place because you have another goal. Just please tell us about that, because I think Mtando posted something, Bob Masego posted something as well, saying that at some point he was forced to downgrade and not willingly downgraded. Can you maybe speak on that, the importance of maybe assessing, since you're so disciplined, assessing I'm probably it's not going to end well where I am, and what adjustments one would need to do.
Yes. Okay.
Someone read your post.
Yes. Okay. When we talk about the downgrading of my house at the moment, if we are being honest, it was not really more about finance. It was more about me getting tired, because I was spending 1 hour 30 minutes going to work, 1 hour 30 minutes going back to my place. And then the house that I'm talking about, I had already paid it off, which means the expenses was very less for me. Although even after I have moved to another place, I realized that there's new money now that I've created by moving. Because at the moment, for example, you'll have a tenant. Let's say a tenant is paying you 14,000, and then you were spending maybe 6,000 on fuel. Now you are spending 2,000 on fuel, which means already you have 18,000. Which is already saved by the move. So the move was more about me getting tired, but it also helped me financially. And then again, I felt like the house where I'm staying, it's not my dream house. Even though a lot of people who used to come to my house, they will say, this house is a nice house. But for me, I felt like I needed a better house. And then when I realized that I need a better house, I realized that I can't afford, or I don't want to buy it strictly on financing. Because let's say you are buying a 6 million rent house, for example. How much are you going to be paying? Something like 63,000. Rates and levies, you are going to 70,000. So I'm like, recently, let me go and stay here, and then I can raise some money to use as a deposit for the house, so that I don't pay that extreme amount that I could be paying for the house that I want. So yeah, I'm in that 2 years. Now I'm left with, I had a 2 years plan to say this is going to be a 2-year plan to get to this house that I want. So at the moment, I've already been there for 2 months, so I still have a journey. Yeah. Yes.
Next question.
Yes.
Okay. It's nice to meet you, Percy. I always follow your posts on LinkedIn.
Oh, no,
I think
thank you.
recently you posted a land in Clifton. You are like, okay, this one I'm going after it. And people are just laughing. So my question is for someone who is looking to invest, buy property for investment. What is your advice to buy property that is already ready? I'm talking about an apartment, a flat that is ready for a tenant to move in, or to look for something, the price a bit lower, but there's some work to be done. You still have to renovate it and bring it up to ways like a tenant is ready. The second question is with investment property. Would you advise someone to start in in like middle class suburbs, like talk about maybe you can go like to Cosmo or so, versus looking at Morningside, Rivonia, where the property value is actually like a bit those are my two questions here.
Okay. Yeah, I think the most important thing obviously in property, if you are investing in an urban area, you'll make better returns. But the problem is that most people, they don't have money to be able to start in an urban area. So for somebody who's starting, I will recommend to say go to the townships, because it's easy to access the market of rental income. So that's what I will advise, to say it's better to start in a township. And that's what I did. My first house was in a township, and my second house was in a township, and my third house was in a township. So it was easy for me to venture into the business of property. And then even in terms of let's say you want to do multi-lets, it becomes easy to do it in a township with multi-lets. Although you still need to follow some regulations, like to have your architecture with you and so that they can advise you on what to do. But it's easy compared to starting in an urban area. And then when we look at an apartment, again, my problem with an apartment is that you cannot extend it. So once you buy an apartment, and then, for example, there's an apartment I wanted to buy in 2018, and then that apartment was 790,000. And then I was going to be paying something like 7,900 in terms of the bond. And it was already approved. I went and canceled it in the middle, because I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, this apartment, it's close to work, and then I wanted it just for being close to work. But I was like, I'm not going to stay in this apartment for a long time. I will see the need to get a standalone house. And then the problem now was, okay, what if I'm moving out? How much am I going to be making out of this apartment? And then I went to the developer to ask Uri, do you have any other apartments here that you are renting out that you are not selling? They say yes, they have, and then they are renting them 6,000. So yes, you buy an apartment for 800,000, you are paying around 8,000. And then you still need to pay levies and rates and all those other things, which means you are already above 10,000. But the tenant is only giving you 6,000, which means you already have a shortfall of 4,000. So for me, an apartment doesn't make financial sense in investing in it if you are going to be doing month-to-month rental. But maybe if you are considering things like Airbnb, then it becomes a different strategy altogether, yeah.
There's a lot to think about. Yes. All right, so I'll take one more question. Is there one more question? And then you can use the mic. Where is the mic?
Oh, there was a question of to buy a back to apartment, something ready for tenants to move in, or something that you have to renovate. Okay,
for me, I find the cheaper one to be the one where you are building yourself. For me, I find it to be cheaper, but it's more. It needs more of your time, because you need to be there to supervise, you need to be buying material, but I find it cheaper because there is a place where I bought for 700,000 years ago. I bought that place for 700,000. I went and invested 804,000 of my own savings into renovating the place and changing it. And then altogether, it's more like I spent 1.5 million. But if you go around there and you check somebody who's selling the same kind of property, you find they are already close to 2 million or around 2 million. But I only used 1.5 million, which obviously it tells you that if somebody is selling a property, they are already thinking of profit. They are not just thinking of bringing back the money they invested. Yes.
Oh, Okay,
Got a
there was
question.
one more.
Thanks, Percy. That's very
Yes.
inspiring and challenging at the same time.
Yes.
I'd like to ask, so Bouti, like you go out once a month, right? I don't know if it's an hour, it's a past tense. Now, I bet you probably had a budget for takeout. I mean, I'm asking because let's say you were out the whole day and then you're hungry. Do you buy food outside or you didn't budget for it so you don't buy that?
Okay. Yes, in the past, those are the things in the past. I'm not saying now. Now, if you decide to say, no, when we get out of here, let's go to a restaurant, I will go with you to the restaurant. Because it's no more the same strict that it used to be before. But in the past, it was like that. I will not just go out anytime. And then I will make sure. I remember there was a time which we used to do braais by my place every Sunday. We will do braais with my friends. Like every Sunday after church, they will come to my place, we do braai. I had to even stop them to say, we must stop this braai because I'm the one who is funding all these braais. So I was more like that before. But obviously, it's more like there was somebody who was saying, when somebody is wasting money, it's not necessarily that that person is wasting money, depending on how much are they making. So what I used to call wasting money then might not be what I call wasting money today. But if somebody is starting, I will recommend that they start the strict way of doing things. Yes.
No, thanks.
Yes.
I have another question. Let's say I'm looking at potentially starting an Airbnb business. So would you recommend buying or rather renting to kick off that type of business?
Okay. No, I think it's about how much you have now. It's about the affordability, or are you able to afford? Obviously, if you are starting and then you can't afford, it's easy. That's why they say you can make money in property without having a property, because you can be able to do those where you are renting somebody's property and you are doing an Airbnb in it, which is easy if you are starting, but it doesn't necessarily mean people must not buy. If you can afford to buy, and then you already have done research about the strategy that you are going to be implementing on the property. Because sometimes the problem, it's not that it's the property. There are people who are saying, I want to sell this property, but the problem is the strategy that you are implementing on the property. So if you have done enough research about the strategy that you want to implement, and then you have tested it, or you've seen somebody who has done it before and then it's working, more like, let's say they're in Pretoria where there's a lagoon, people are doing Airbnb and so on, then you can see where it's working. Then you can buy and do that. But obviously, you have to do the research first before you buy, because a lot of people just hear people saying, I'm making money on property, then you go and ban yourself. So it doesn't mean every property is good for the strategy that you are going to implement. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we can give him
Are you allowing me?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Sorry. Yeah, so I think we talk a lot about the good side of property. You know,
Yes.
I'm in property also myself.
Yes.
But there's this thing, tenants,
Yes.
and the stress that comes with them,
Yes.
not paying,
Yes.
the maintenance of the property.
Yes.
Take us through that also. I'm
Yeah,
giving it to you. Yeah.
That's a good one. Oh, yes. I think it also helps to do proper venting of the person who's going to be in your property. I think it's very good to do that. And then people, they are using even, there's now different apps which you can use to vent somebody to see if they have defaults and so on.
Okay.
There are even an app which you can use, yeah. And then again, the issue of deposit. For me, deposit is very important. When a person is moving into the property, that person must pay deposit. because I feel like deposit gives you time to deal with a non-payment tenant, non-paying tenant. Because if somebody says they didn't pay this month, I have a month to fight with them without me losing because I have their deposit with me. And then by the time the month ends, they will be already frustrated with me. They just want to move out. So I have more like time because of deposit. So for me, deposit has been a very good tool that I use to manage the tenants. And then there's a lot of people who come to me to say, can I manage the property for you? For me, I think I enjoy managing it because I've been doing it myself for a lot of time, for a number of years.
I think you have the advantage of being Percy, though. You might not be as popular, so people might be afraid. If I mess him up, who's on post?
I've had like challenges, obviously, of non-payment, and then I believe more on gentleman's agreement more than going to legal routes of saying, let's fight with a tenant in a legal way. So I believe in gentleman agreement to say, you can see you are not able to fulfill your part, let's terminate the contract. And it has worked so far because,
Okay.
it has worked.
No, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Wait. If you are interested in a lot more of the technical stuff of what he was doing and the numbers, he puts up boards and breaks it down in charts. There's a seminar coming up in July. It's July, no? And besides you doing the breakdown of the numbers and interest and what to spend and stuff, there is Ngobile who focuses on the PNP question. He wrote a book called, I know it's How to Succeed with Airbnb and stuff. Yes. It's what he's trending for. So just to ask questions around Airbnb strategies. And there is Lebo, who is probably is there a bigger influencer in teaching about property investment than her? I don't know any. She has a huge following teaching people about property, all the risks and nightmares that you're asking about. So you can look out for that. And you can follow the man. Thank you.
Yes, it's the
you're opening.
The 26th of July. Yeah. We are hosting a seminar in Pretoria, so we are just inviting you to come through here.
All right. So thank you that you joined us till this time. We will see you on the next episode.